Hello, everyone. It is your roast coming queen here to deliver a little pre-ep message that I personally consider to be a rite of passage of any podcast produced in the quarantine era, which is that this episode has some audio issues. Okay. Our guest, her mic, it makes a little crinkly sound sometimes. And personally, that's not something that bothers me, but I know that some people, the way you handle oral input is very personal to every single person. So I wanted to give this sort of ASMR note. If the idea of hearing someone occasionally have a crinkly microphone sound is painful, stressful to you, I don't want this podcast to be the place for you to feel pain or stress, so just I want you to know what you're taking on before you get into the app. And what you're taking on is an occasional crinkling sound. Personally, I think it's worth it to hear the hilarious stories of our wonderful guest. But again, that's a personal decision for you, BB. So, okay, without further ado, let's get into the episode because I've run out of things to say. Hello, and welcome to the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast. I am your host, your roast coming queen, a girl who fully punched a hole in the wall of her high school bedroom when her mom said she couldn't go on vacation with her boyfriend, Alise Morales. And with us today, we have an actress and comedian who you've seen in The Cut, Vulture on Comedy Central, and most recently crushing it in her Tonight Show debut. But before all of that, she was a graduate of West Hill High School. It's Mary Beth Barone.
Hi. That was a great intro. It really just rolled off the tongue.
Thank you. I've been working on it. I come up with a new little fact about myself at the beginning. And then, I feel like the intro is an important intro to the podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just how you hook them, but
it is.
It sounds like your mom. I mean, ultimately, yes, it's upsetting to not be able to go on vacation with your boyfriend, but also I guess kind of makes sense in a way.
I went on the vacation, Mary Beth.
Okay. Okay, let's hear about that.
Violence works. And I did ultimately go on the vacation with my boyfriend, who his grandma got mad at us because she thought we were being too touchy-feely on the vacation. And I was like, well, then why did you let me even come here?
Wait, where'd you go?
Florida.
Of course.
A classic place to go on vacation with your boyfriend.
Classic high school vacation spot, I would say.
100%. Did your family have a particular vacation spot that you guys would go to?
There was a wide spectrum. Some summers we would just go to Italy for 2 weeks, but then sometimes we would go to Disneyland. There was such a range, or we'd go to Savannah, Georgia to visit my aunt, So it was just, you never knew what my mom was going to plan. Ultimately.
It is really when you're a kid, it's just you find out we're going on vacation for a month, actually. Right, so sorry if you had friends or you had anything that you were doing.
They're just yeah, we're packing up the entire family and we're leaving our house empty for X number of days. And that's the situation. So,
and it's always there are always vacations that now I'm please someone pay for me to go.
I can't even tell you.
For 2 weeks.
I cannot.
I remember being miserable on a family vacation to Florida where we were my uncle has a boat. We were on his boat. I was miserable because I could not see this boy, David, I've talked about him on the podcast before, but his screen name was DJ School Ditcher. And he was my big middle school crush. And I had I had the alarm to know when he signed on and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
And I wanted to spend time with him on spring break. And instead I had to be on my uncle's stupid boat.
I know. It all felt so unfair. I remember going to Italy one year and we were in the mountains and it was summer. And I was like, why don't they have air conditioning here? We were staying in a chateau where there were literal oil painting murals on the wall. And I was like, there's mosquitoes and the pool's really cold. And it's
Yeah.
just like, you
The
need to
pool is
shut up.
cold.
You need to shut up right now.
All right, so let's get deeper into it. So this is the first question I like to ask, which is just let me know, like, what was the flavor of your high school? What type of high school are we dealing with? What is the vibe?
Okay, so it's a public school, and I was little Catholic schoolgirl coming from Greenwich Catholic, where there was
Mhm.
like 40 kids in a grade, maybe 50. There was 600 kids in my grade in high school,
And
in
that's a
each grade.
grade.
Yeah.
That's so was your like school, was it like a giant building? Like what's the campus?
It's like a campus. I think it was 3 buildings, and the agricultural science program had a separate building. So any kids that were doing that were separate.
Oh wow. So would they have like, because like University of Delaware, aka my college, had an ag building and they
I
had like
know, it's
cows there
so
and shit.
random. Yeah, I don't think we had like livestock per se.
Okay. I was like,
But
how big is this ag building?
no, the school was just so massive. And so you would really just get to know people based on what classes you were in,
Mhm.
because then you just spent like all day with those people. And it was like lunchtime. So they would do lunch in 3 blocks, and it was pandemonium. 2 cafeterias, fully 2 cafeterias.
I remember like we had lunch in 4 blocks at my school. And if you got A block, your lunch was at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah. Oh,
It
we had
was
to
just
get to
like, what the
school. The
fuck?
idea of getting to school at 7:25 a.m. for the first bell, it absolutely blows, because I can hardly wake up at 9 a.m. at this point. This is high school. I'm doing my hair every day. I'm picking out an outfit. I never wore the same outfit twice in high school. That was the type of person that I was. I would wear the
Mm-hmm.
same pieces, but I wouldn't wear the same outfits.
That's
And I was very focused on physical appearance, obviously, very materialistic
mhm.
teenager. But the idea of getting up that early and putting like being functioning, and then yeah, lunch at 10:30, like who is that for? Then you have so much time left in your day.
I would, first of all, I would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and be like, I'm late. I shouldn't, I'm already late. Like, be like, the bus is here in
It's literally
15
leaving.
minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. I would somehow straighten my hair during that time, full beat, full
Yep.
face of
I would
makeup.
do a smoky eye sometimes. Like, this was very serious business, was getting ready for high school.
It was. So did you plan out your first like week of outfits like for first day
Mhm.
of school? Because I would always plan at least the first week.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming from Catholic school where we had to wear uniforms, so I was just so excited to be wearing my own clothes that I was like, okay, I need to have this picked out. And obviously at that time, Marissa Cooper was my style icon. So it was a lot of like wearing like a scarf as a headband, a low side ponytail, a lot of denim skirts and things like that, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
necklaces. So I was very focused. I mean, that was my main priority in high school. Certainly wasn't my grades. I mean, I got fine grades, and I got into
Mm-hmm.
like a good college because I applied to like the easiest school to get into within that college. But
Mm-hmm.
I did my homework and shit, but I was not like, I wasn't like a nerd. I don't
Yeah. Well, so where did teen Mary Beth like funnel herself into socially? I always ask this of people who went to a big high school, like, how do you make a splash in a class of 600?
And you have
Did
to
you
make a
make a
splash.
splash?
Yeah, it was really, I think it was just really like natural. I fell into this group that had mostly all gone to middle school together. And I was lucky enough to be in a lot of overlapping classes with them. And they were very social on the weekends. Like we would always go hang out at someone's house. So it was really nice to be able to have that, like when I was obviously really intimidated going to a new school. And I was
Mm-hmm.
also on the swim team where you make friends. That was a fall sport. So that was right when I was a freshman going to swim practice. But I made a lot of friends on the team, but they weren't the type of friends that I would necessarily like hang out with on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Those were my like friends from the classes. And I remember solidifying my friendship with them because I kind of like asked what they were doing for New Year's. So this is like January, just a few months in, and I went
Mm-hmm.
to their New Year's party. So that felt very good.
That is a huge like way to assert yourself in a group. It's to be like, you're ringing in the new year with me.
and I'm coming to your house.
You know what was I feel like you'll relate to this. There was a huge moment where New Year's Eve shifted as a holiday for me, where I understood it to be the very like sexy fashion holiday it is the OC's New Year's Eve episode where Ryan tells Marissa that he loves her and she's going to the party at Oliver Trask's house.
So you should know, I watched the OC season 1 recently, and I just watched season 1 and then I watched the series finale because I wanted to just watch when it was like at its best. But that
season
episode,
1 is perfect.
There's like it's so good, and like it really wasn't that like inappropriate. I mean, I like Gossip Girl I think was way worse for like sex stuff.
Yeah, doesn't Chuck's like fully attempts rape in the pilot.
Yeah.
So that's not great.
It's not great. And I think like I watched back the OC season 1 and I didn't realize how many of Julie Cooper's lines are just constantly on a loop in my head. Like, you know how there's just lines from movies and TV shows you just think about sometimes?
Yes.
They're almost all from her from season 1 of the OC.
She's so perfect in that show.
She's
Julie
incredible.
Cooper Nickel.
She just cares about her kids. That's all. I mean, she definitely slept with Luke, which was not acceptable.
That wasn't right.
And I made a TikTok about this because season 1, I had whiplash from seeing, is Luke a good guy or a bad guy? Because like he'll be a bad guy and then he'll randomly low-key be good, and then he'll be bad again, and then he'll be good, and then he like punches Ryan and burns down the house, and then he's good again. And it's just and then he like moves away with his gay dad.
Yeah. Well, it's also it is kind of weird that they're like, ultimately at the end of the day, Luke's dad is gay.
Yeah.
And we have
that's called character development.
It's kind of like all of his sins get wiped away because his dad is gay, and it's like, and now he has to take that on.
And now he's moving. So.
Yeah, it's like what? Well, he has to leave Orange County if he's gonna have his gay dad.
He does support his dad, which I think is really nice. And so that show was very formative. Actually, in high school, my friends and I made a parody of the OC called the FC about Fairfield County. And we had a huge following in Canada on the Canadian OC message boards. But I think the videos got taken down because we used some of the songs from the actual soundtrack. And, you know, copyright on YouTube has changed in the last like 10 years. But back then they were not, no.
Yeah, you could post whatever. I remember I would make like parody videos and stuff with my friends. We made one about the Breakfast Club called the Mid-Morning Snack Club.
Love it.
So parody was very strong, very, very strong at that time.
And this was when YouTube was so new, and it was just, you just thought like, okay, well, all of our dreams can come true here. Like this is a place where we can upload the videos we made that are funny to us. So they're definitely going to be funny to everyone.
I like our drama class, we would do a video project every year. And I don't even think I did upload them to YouTube, but I would like learn to edit and work so hard on these videos in like iMovie. And now if I have to like edit 1 second of an audition, I'm like, oh my God,
I can't be asked.
I don't have these skills. I don't know how to put captions on a video. And like when I was a teenager, I would just be like, I will learn. And
you would just Google it. Yeah, no, we did so many video projects in school. I was never the one editing them, but if you had to do a project and video was an option, I feel like I would just pair with someone that knew how to do it and then had a camera.
So were you like, did you want to be in front of the camera? Did you do plays? Like, what was your relationship to comedy or performance at all during this time?
I definitely went into high school with the intention of like auditioning for the school play and like doing that whole deal, but I never did. I just simply never did. I think I played tennis in the spring, at least for a couple years, and that was when the plays were. So yeah, I just I didn't feel that drawn to the drama program there. But I always I think my high school friends really helped me develop obviously my family was very influential with my comedy as well, but my high school friends were like, they didn't miss a beat. Like we all found the same things funny, and we would do a lot of just like goofing off, you know what I just like?
Yeah. Like, well, it seems like you guys made this sketch series together. So it's like it seems like you guys were creative in other ways, even if you weren't officially a part of the theater program.
Right. We made, you know, the world's a stage, as they say. So we made the world our little stage. And I think I was always the one that wanted to be like, you know, the main character or in front of the camera,
So
essentially.
in the FC, were you the Marissa Cooper? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured you were Marissa, but hey, there's a Summer in there. I could see you pulling a Summer.
I think at the time, you know, one of my friends played, she just nailed the role. And I was more of a Marissa anyway. So I figured, you know what, let's just stay true to who I am.
Perfect. Well, okay. Let's see. So you're a student athlete. You've got this crew of friends. How about like boys dating? Are we dating girls at all? What's going on there?
So I was like boy crazy from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
I have always been like I just had crushes on people my entire life. Freshman year, I had a crush on, so freshman year, I like sort of dated. I mean, we were like on, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, but we never really did anything with my friend who's now my gay best friend. So
beautiful.
it was very influential. And, you know, we had a lot of fun. It lasted, I think, like maybe 2 months. But that year was mostly occupied by like later that year. I mean, I had a crush on a junior when I was a freshman and who was also a swimmer. That never went away. And
did he reciprocate at all, or was it a fully unrequited scenario?
We would talk on instant messenger sometimes, and then when he was a senior and I was a sophomore, or maybe, yeah, we were both at the same Sweet 16 and we ended up making out, which was huge.
Oh,
that was
like
a dream come true. But
yeah, that's like Disney movie level.
Yeah, but that was it. That was the end of that. So I had a crush on someone from my confirmation class, actually. So
classic place to develop a crush.
Yeah. So confirmation class was this funny dynamic because it was all these boys from the all boys school. And then anyone else, you know, from the neighborhood who was going to get confirmed, which is a sacrament that not a lot of people do, but I did. And so it was like funny because you would talk to the boys on instant messenger all week. And then when you got to confirmation class, they would completely ignore you. Like they wouldn't acknowledge you.
Of course.
So that was like weird.
And so are the boys from confirmation class also like, they're not necessarily boys from your school?
Oh, they were not. They were from the all boys school.
Okay. So that is like, nothing was more like sexually enticing to me as a teenager than the prospect of meeting boys from another school. And it really felt like anything could happen.
That is ultimately, so by senior year, I was friends with a girl in my neighborhood who went to a private school that was co-ed. And I ended up dating, my first like real boyfriend was one of her friends. So that was obviously very exciting. But this crush in confirmation class, like we would talk so much on AIM and like we would maybe write on each other's Facebook wall here and there. But then it ended really weirdly. Like he was really making me feel unsafe.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know. I also feel like when you're a teenage girl, especially, it's hard to even like recognize when someone's making you feel unsafe too, because there's so much alarming behavior that is portrayed as love and the way that you're supposed to act. Like,
well, it was weird because so we all had driver's licenses at this point. So this must have been sophomore year or junior year. But he went to a different school and my school had a half day, or his school had a half day. And he came around to my school like when we were getting out of class and like was just like, it was just really bizarre. And then there would be times where I felt like, because he lived in my neighborhood and I felt kind of like he was following me around maybe. So eventually I had to Facebook message my brother's college roommate because my brother was abroad. And I just was like, I don't know what to do about this guy and I need your help.
And did he hook it up?
He told me exactly what to say. And then that kind of was the end of that.
Oh, that's a good brother's college roommate.
I know. He's a good person. And I was glad he was there for me in that trying time.
Yes. So is teen Mary Beth, you said you made out, but you also, it seems like you're very you're very Catholic at this point. So are you going beyond making out at all? And let's also actually pull up, we do have a Catholic image of Mary Beth. And I think now is the time.
And this is at my confirmation. All my friends came. It was like a huge, day for me, a huge evening to renounce Satan. You know, as a teenager, I wanted to wear a cute little outfit from Urban Outfitters, and I had my girls roll up. And so I was of the mind at this point that I was waiting until marriage to have sex. So you could definitely do other stuff, but that was like that wasn't until I was a senior. Like up until I was a senior, I was doing kissing and that's it.
So I do want to say also this image that we're looking at, I would say is like sort of a who's who of confirmation fashion.
Absolutely.
We have all the different, because I was never confirmed, but I rolled up for my girls who were getting confirmed. My Catholic,
have to ride for your girls.
Yeah, for my Catholic girlies, I showed up to a couple confirmations, and the floral V-neck dress with like the belt or
that's a Forever 21 exclusive. We that dress made the rounds because I wore that to a Sweet 16, and then my other friend also wore it. We all wore that dress once.
That dress in general, and that cut of dress with like the V-neck and then it's like empire waisted at the bottom.
Yeah,
I feel like that was the go-to. Like, I have a slightly fancy, maybe professional high school event that I need to go to.
Oh, yes. I mean, the way we swapped dresses for Sweet 16s, as if anybody gave a shit, like what we were wearing, or if anyone wore the same. It was just like, we constantly, like, I remember I went to one Sweet 16 and I borrowed someone else's prom dress. Like, I was like, because I just wanted to wear something different. You know?
Yeah. Was it like a gown? Did you
no,
wear a
it
gown?
was short. It was a strapless.
Okay.
I remember it was a strapless Marc Jacobs dress, and I was obsessed with it. And I was like, I thought like this, you know, you just feel like when you dress up for those events, you feel like $1 million.
Yeah, because I was imagining you showing up in a gown to someone else's Sweet 16, and I was like,
oh, I did do that. Well, it wasn't a gown; it was short,
yeah.
but you know, it was someone else's.
Yeah. Did you have a Sweet 16? Was that like a big thing in your?
Because I feel like pool party. I didn't do the evening like renting out a venue, but a lot with a DJ. But a lot of people did, and those were fucking fun.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't live in like a Sweet 16 area. Like either everyone's doing that or they're not doing it.
We were a hotbed for Sweet 16. Because there's a venue here that's not super dressy, but it's like perfect for that like occasion. And I feel like they would just churn out Sweet 16s.
So what about for the dances? Were you always going with like a romantic partner? Did you go with friends?
For homecoming, you didn't usually necessarily bring a date. So those were just like chill ones with friends. But for prom, so you had proms as a junior and a senior. Junior year, I just brought a friend who like I had a crush on, but we had made out once and I was just like, I didn't get vibes from him necessarily that we would make out again, which we have since, of course. And now we're very good friends.
That's beautiful.
Senior year, I brought my boyfriend and I went to his prom as well.
And so was he, he was a different school?
School.
The sexiest thing.
It was magic, really. It was great. He was a great boyfriend. And I ran into him on Metro North before the pandemic. Lovely guy.
Well, I did see in your Fallon set that you're dating someone in the UK now, which is kind of like dating someone from another school once again.
As an adult. Yeah, exactly.
That's the way you date someone from another school as an adult.
You just have to find a different country.
Yeah, they have to live in a completely different country. Do you remember any like big scandals, rumors, dramas of your high school or even middle school? Because I love a Catholic school drama.
Catholic school, the school was so small, like if anything it would be parental drama, which like I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but we had a few cases of that. In high school, one of our teachers got fired for smoking weed with the students.
Cool.
and or dating one of the students, but I can't remember which one it was, or maybe it was both.
I feel like once you're smoking weed with the students, you're one step away from dating one of the students.
Exactly. We also had my favorite English teacher married my favorite history teacher, and they were like a very cute little couple, and they had a kid. They have, I think, a couple kids at this point, but it was just like, it was beautiful to see that type of, workplace.
That's romance. A positive. That's a positive romance situation in school.
Just two adults. Yeah, just two adults falling in love kind of at work.
Great.
Different departments, but we love to see
Mhm.
it. There was definitely rumors of like STDs and stuff, like you would hear about so and so having whatever.
Classic.
But and then I'm trying to one year there was everybody was convinced that there was going to be a shootout at the school between students, and so I stayed home that day.
So was the shootout, was it one of those things where it's like tomorrow lunch, these two people are going to
Yeah.
shoot each other?
I don't even
Cool.
know if it was specific people or specific like cliques or what it
Mhm.
was, but we also
Ah,
had several bomb threats at my school.
wow. So was it always like, did you ever find out who did them? Was it like disgruntled students who did them?
I think the bomb threats were students. I don't know who spread the rumor about the shootout, but that was definitely like peak high school drama. Was
Mhm.
like, oh my God, who's gonna stay home tomorrow and who's not? So that
The
was
people
pretty
who didn't, it's
crazy.
like those people are like YOLO, I guess. They
They're
just
just
are like,
that, well, or they don't feed into the drama.
that's true. They either didn't believe it or they were like, I'm trying to see a shootout at my
Right. They're
school.
like, hey, if it's happening, I'm gonna be there in the audience.
Exactly. Exactly.
There was one more thing that I thought of, but I can't remember. So if I think of it, I will let you know.
I remember I went to like a weird Christian elementary school, like up until sixth grade. And after Columbine, someone wrote, we had like um handball courts out that were like
Right,
outside
of
where you like hit
course.
the ball against the thing. And someone, local teens, came onto the playground and they wrote, Mary Beth, they wrote, God is gay on the on the playground, and everyone was really scared that it was going
Freaking
to lead
out to some kind of
everybody was
shooting. Oh my
freaking
God, I
out.
remembered what I was gonna say. Senior year, okay, I took Latin in high school because I didn't want to
Mhm.
have to learn how to speak another language, which is so stupid because how beneficial is it to speak multiple languages? And they're literally teaching you for free. But I said, no,
Yeah.
I'm going to take Latin. So there's this thing called Connecticut State Latin Day, which is where Latin students from every school could come and you would wear togas and you would do
Okay.
like traditional things that they would do in like ancient Greece or
Mhm.
whatever. And so I remember I knew a few of the boys from the all boys school who were in Latin. And so I got really stoned with some of my friends before we went on the bus to Connecticut State Latin Day. And I was so high, like I would in a toga and like just trying to like casually flirt with people. And it was a great, I mean, hey, it was a great day. But
I mean, that sounds honestly wonderful, like a beautiful day. What was Teen Mary Beth's like move with guys? Would it be the I am? Would it be the sarcastic, like, I actually hate you?
I never approach things with, I don't think I really ever approach things as like negging or saying like trying the like reverse psychology type deal. It was
Mm-hmm.
mostly just like pretty blatant flirting, I would say.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a lot to be said for that because people know what you're doing. They know what you're
Exactly.
doing.
There's not a lot of confusion that's there if you're just laying it all out. I think I was a mixture of blatant flirting and also, unfortunately, like guys girling.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, well, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're being, I mean, sometimes it's fun to hang out with guys, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're being true to yourself, then I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I do think that I was being true to myself, but I also think that I was like putting more pressure on my female friendships than and expecting nothing from my male
Yeah,
friendships, and so that leads to
that can be
conflict
tough.
when it's like you don't expect them to do anything, but your girlfriends, it's like she looked at me the wrong way and it means something.
Right. And that's some social politics that it's good to learn in high school because then you can navigate those things into adulthood because they still happen.
That's true. Were you a high drama friend group? Like, did you guys fight with each other or was it
Not
very
really.
like,
Because our group was it was I think it was 9 girls and 2 guys who both are gay now and
mm-hmm.
came out in high school. So it was like people would maybe get mad at each other about things, but it was usually like, oh, this person told something to someone that they weren't supposed to, or like never like we never really wanted to hook up with the same people. So that really kind of removed I guess there were a couple instances of that, but on the whole, it was pretty drama free. And
you
like
can't make it through high school without a couple instances of that.
Yeah.
That's like a rite of passage to be like, oh my God, this guy actually likes my friend.
It happens. It definitely happens.
It happens to the best of us, even beautiful people.
Oh, absolutely. It that really, it just like, it doesn't discriminate.
No.
It can happen to anyone. And we were kind of like, I liked my group of friends was fun because we kind of struck the balance between being like breaking the rules and also just like doing our homework. Like we definitely like were good at school, but we weren't supposed to leave campus at lunch, even if we had cars, because
we couldn't leave. When I hear about people who could leave, I'm like, no, we were trapped in our school. Left. The moment you arrived, you were supposed to be trapped.
I would leave every single day when I had a car. And we would go to Liz Sue Bagels on High Ridge Road, and we would get a massive slice of pizza that cost $2 and just eat there and then race back to class.
I tried sneaking out. I tried leaving one time. And I was caught leaving and they made me come back and it was really sad. It was, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Wait, actually there was drama because our principal slept with one of the janitors.
Okay, but how did everyone find out?
She was married. I don't know, but I think she was married. I'm not sure. How things just kind of like snowball in your head and you're like, what actually happened? I don't know, but that was drama.
That is drama. That's high drama. I never knew anything about what my principal was up to. We never had rumors really about teachers or anyone. There was like one teacher who was creepy, but it wasn't even a rumor. It was just something that me and my friends knew. Something
that's important for the listeners to know is that I had a hot guidance counselor.
That is extremely important. How did you navigate that as a young and impressionable teen girl?
I think that's where I really learned to open up to hot guys because he was hot and I was going to him for stuff. So I needed guidance. Did he help you get
into college?
I think he did. He let me read his letter of recommendation, which you're literally not supposed to do. But he did let me read it and it was really good. And on graduation day, I remember I took a photo with him and, it's cute. He was really nice to me.
Did you have like a for real crush on him or were you just like, I understand this man to be hot. I also realize our relationship is professional.
It was more the latter, I would say.
Yeah. What about, were you a big unrequited crush person or were you like, either this is going to pan out or I'm going to move on to the next?
I was really good at keeping a crush like going. Like I would say it was a balance. Like there were definitely people that I was like, oh, I have a crush on that person. And then we would make out or whatever, or like kiss at a sweet 16 or, go to a party together and end up making out in the bathroom or something. There was lots of that happening.
Beautiful.
But then there was lots of like, oh, I like this older boy and that's going to be what it is.
Yeah, see, I feel like I was always looking for like the most viable crush that could actually come to fruition. So I didn't like hold on. When I was a younger girl and like I was into romance and none of the boys around me were because I was a fourth grader, that was when I would have like deep unrequited crushes on boys, like pining for them. But as soon as like the boys caught up, I was like, we're either doing this or we're not.
And that's probably the better way to approach it because then you cut down on a lot of wasted time.
I was trying to find my Seth Cohen. Speaking of people who are still hot, let's look at these pictures of Mary Beth.
Great segue.
So, I've been working on my segues. So this seems like a student athlete photo. What are we looking at here?
We're looking at the pep rally where we were wearing I think they were boathouse. You would get the boathouse like custom like swishy pants and jacket vibe for your little sport. By the way,
I never did that because I never had a sport, but I remember the days when everyone of a certain sport would come in their jacket and swishy pants.
What was insane is that I want to say they would make us buy a new one every year. Maybe I'm wrong though, but they were so expensive and like I don't have it anymore. Like I got rid of it, but we wore those on the days we had swim meets, and this was the pep rally. So obviously everyone in a fall sport was coming dressed to the nines with school spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And here you see me, I'm taking off my swishy pants in favor of spandex. And then I want to say we probably had t-shirts on underneath that where the collar was cut off. So it was like an off the shoulder 80s vibe.
Oh, love that. And that was like a home cutoff. Like you guys.
Oh yeah. This was very DIY.
I loved to just fuck up a shirt when I was in high school.
You give me a pair of scissors and a shirt, forget it.
Yeah. You could, I was truly, you could give me any piece of cloth and I could turn it into a slutty shirt. Like it was
no questions asked.
Give me 2 minutes with this shirt and it'll be not appropriate to wear to anything.
To church anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I will not be able to wear it anymore. I would cut up the sides and do the tie along the sides.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely cut it into a tank top. There were so many options. And I was a swimmer, but I would like go to the bathroom for a really long time and like actually just be taking a hot shower. And then what was such torture is that the boys swim team would start practicing after us. And so you'd see them in their bathing suits and perv out a little bit and then, have to go in and take a little shower.
Did teen Mary Beth allow herself to fully perv out, or were you like, I'm a confirmed Catholic, I can't be doing that?
You think I wasn't imagining what was under their bathing suits. I was just admiring what I was able to see. The chest, the abs, the legs, that type.
Which we often see on Jesus Christ himself. He's often depicted the same way.
If God, comma, Jesus can do that, can wear that outfit, then I don't feel so bad.
That's true. Honestly, yeah, a swim team outfit is basically Jesus's final look.
Basically what he wore, on his kind of like his
big
final
day
tour. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was so weird is that like on the swim team, we were obsessed with that song, My Neck, My Back. And like I would sing that and just not care. Like just be like, yeah, this is a fine song.
It was kind of crazy what would like play at dances fully uncensored. Well, I think that now they play censored music at the dances.
They should. I mean, yeah, to the windows, to the walls. Like that was huge when I was in high school, middle school and high school, and they would play that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As like a 12-year-old just being like, let the sweat drop down my balls.
Exactly. All these bitches crawl. I'm like, yes.
Skate my God. Just screaming it. Absolutely. And grinding. Did you grind at your dances?
Oh yeah. That's where I learned to grind was at my first homecoming.
I remember being scared that I wasn't going to be good at it.
Of course. Why would you not be scared? It's a skill you need to have in the world to survive, obviously.
I remember being very scared that I wasn't going to be good at grinding. And then it's actually just rubbing your genitals on another person.
Yes.
So there isn't really a huge amount of skill involved.
There's not. I mean, if you have no rhythm, it can be tough. But yeah. I think a lot of people are able to work through that in their teen years and once again, flourish as adults.
100%. I always think about how crazy it must be to be an adult who was watching those dances. Like the chaperones, I'm like, what are like, no one was stepping in. I didn't see anybody step in.
What can you do? Because you can't, if everyone's doing it, what are they going to do? Pull people apart?
That's true.
You can't.
That's true. No, you can't because they're actually like fully in each other at this point. So you're not going to extricate them.
I think you're like, as long as they're not having sex on the dance floor, it's like, okay, we'll let it slide. We'll turn a blind eye.
I also remember we would gather in like a giant sweaty circle too. So it was probably hard to even actually see what anyone was doing in there.
And it was dark, the lights are down.
Smoke machine.
Ugh, just sweaty and yeah.
It was a really sexual environment, truly. Like
yeah, and it was like hormones raging. I don't know why they have school dances. It's like you're asking for trouble.
It really did. It went from being like this I don't know, maybe they were just as horny back in the 50s or whatever, and we just don't No.
They were just doing that shit like under the bleachers.
Because the bar to become that horny was lower, I think, at that time. Like you could see an ankle and you would be like, that's horny.
You need a fan.
Exactly. You're fainting. So maybe they were exactly this. They've been the same level of horny all the time. It's just the threshold to get teenagers to be that horny has raised. And, I'm going to write an essay.
exhibiting it in different ways.
Exactly. 100%. All right. Let's take a look at this next photo we have here. It's you and Tim Gunn. I got to know the story.
It's me and Tim Gunn at New York Fashion Week. So my oldest brother worked for I don't even know how, basically it was a brand. It was like a gown. This designer would like make gowns. Okay. And my brother would like sell them to, it was like a company of 3 people. And he was the like salesperson something for department stores, I think. So one year when it was Fashion Week, he was like, we have the show tonight. If you want to come in, you can wear a dress and go to Fashion Week. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. So we went to the showroom. I picked out this gorgeous baby pink number sequin. There's like a little sheer overlay. It's a short dress. I wore it with high heels.
Empire waist,
obviously. So we get to Fashion Week, we get to the fashion show, and who is there but Tim Gunn himself? And I'm like, well, I'll be damned if I don't get a picture with Tim Gunn. So I just straight up went up to him, my mom with my digital camera, took a picture. And I think this was my profile picture on Facebook for a while, but I can't be sure.
I mean, it is a perfect profile picture. Also, someone is photobombing you in the back. Do you know that person? Okay, great. I was like, is that just a random woman?
Yeah, that's my brother's wife. Then girlfriend.
And okay, so was Teen Mary Beth like, was there a part of you that went to this and was like, I'm going to be discovered as a model at this event? Because I think Teen Alise would have thought that.
It was never off the table. I thought that anywhere I went, the mall, because actually one time I was in the mall with my cousin and she got scouted. I don't think she ever called them, but.
And you were next to her and you were not scouted.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, I'm literally right here.
Well, you are an icon of the Roast of Your Teenage Self live show because of your teen modeling photos,
of course,
which we keep in the vault for the live show. If you guys want to see, if you guys want to see Mary Beth's teenage modeling photos, you need to wait until live shows are a thing again, and then you're just gonna have to wait.
And you can wait and be patient because it is worth the wait, I promise. That was from a phase of my life where I was like actively trying to do acting without having to do it through my drama program at school. Oh, by the way, I took Drama 101 in high school. And I remember the teacher was like a female Chris Farley. She was absolutely insane. She was very fun, but I never took 102 or 201 or whatever it was because also one of my big crushes was in my drama class. He switched schools in the middle of first semester, which is so sad.
Devastating.
But that was, it was like, I was dipping my toe in, but I was just like, I was so sensible when I was in high school. I was like, this is not a realistic career path. So I'm just going to be an English teacher, whatever.
I think that I was similar in high school, even though I was pursuing drama, because little known part of my origin story is that I did grow up in LA and I lived there till I was 12 and then moved to Virginia.
Wow.
That's where I went to that's where I went to my weird Christian elementary school, and I took weird child acting classes and child comedy classes there. Very warped, very disturbing mind. But then I moved to Virginia and literally I was like, well, I'm already done. Like I literally had a child actor's mentality where I was like, well, I'm already done. I can't pursue acting anymore.
That ship has sailed.
I'll be a hobbyist here in Virginia, but obviously I can't pursue theater any longer.
Well, you can't pursue theater from Virginia.
No, I'm already out of the game. I'm already out of the game. I'm not in Hollywood anymore. I'm hanging it up. So I had that same level of like practicality too.
Teens just really can be like that sometimes. And then as an adult, I thought, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yeah. But I feel like that's a thing where like your high school kind of tells you that because they're like, you have to go to college right now and you have to take all these tests and you have to decide what you want to be when you grow up. And if you don't get into the right college right now, then you actually can't even be that thing.
I know. So I went to Boston College with my head held high in the
Mhm.
School of Development, thinking I'm going to be an English teacher. And then thankfully I dropped out after 2 years, which I think I was technically still a teenager when I dropped out of school. But I think that's when I really decided like, okay, I'm just going to kind of like do my own thing.
So were you, when you, at that point, were you pursuing comedy yet? Or were you just like, I know that college is not for me and I'm not going to be an English teacher?
Yeah, I pretty much knew Boston wasn't for me. I knew BC wasn't for me. I knew being an English teacher wasn't for me. So I moved to New York and I started working at a startup. And then
Mhm.
I didn't do comedy in New York until I had lived there already for 4 years.
Okay, so was it an immediate feeling when you got to college like, oh no, this ain't it?
I think I had built it up so much in my mind seeing my 5 siblings go to college and like it to varying degrees. Cause even if they didn't like it, they weren't talking to me about it. So like
Yeah.
my sister took a gap year, but then ended up finishing in one extra, like she finished college in 3 years.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, well, maybe she just, well, I'm sitting on a yoga ball. So for people who are wondering why I'm so fidgety, it's because like I'm sitting on a ball. Um, and then
Always
so
working your core.
always
Always
constantly
working.
doing work for my core especially. So I just thought college was going to be like this amazing experience that was going to be the best time of my life, and I ended up just feeling like my college was really similar to my elementary school, where it just wasn't showing me anything new, and also it was so easy to get good grades without doing any reading, and I was an English major.
It's
Like,
actually a lot easier to get good grades in college than in high school. I
yeah,
feel. Because
yeah.
in you pick what classes you want to take. You pick the ones
Well,
that are you want to
no,
take
and you know
them.
what? I just got so bothered by the idea that things were being graded subjectively by one teacher, and you know what I mean? Like if you're taking English, your essay is graded off of like that person's opinion.
Yeah.
And that just really did not sit right with me, even though, I would get good grades. I was just like, what am I doing? This is costing so much money. And I just like, I'm not happy. I was just deeply, deeply unhappy. I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah. And was that a hard sell for your parents when you were like, I'm leaving, or were they just like, don't worry about it?
Well, I presented it, and this is originally what I thought I was going to do, was just taking a semester off. And then I applied to Parsons, and I thought I was going to do the fashion marketing program there. But then I didn't like that. I took one online class or two maybe, and I was like, this sucks. Um,
I'm not doing
and so
this.
then when I was working, I just kind of kept moving up slowly. And then I felt like, well, I don't really need to go to school. And then obviously when I decided I wanted to be a comedian, there was already no way I was going to finish college, but then it was like, okay, well, now there's
Yeah.
definitely no way.
Well, you were like, I need to save my money for improv school.
I have tuition to pay, babe, and it's to the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Brigade.
Thank you.
Okay. At $400. Well, actually, it became way more. Anyway, let's look at this final photo of you because we've heard a lot about your crew. And so I think we're finally going to get another just really good look at the girlies
The
here.
girlies. So this was the night we took a stretch limo to the Spice Girls reunion tour.
Oh my
So,
God.
we would work, we would babysit, we had summer jobs, that was the vibe, and we would spend our money on experiences. And we dressed as the Spice Girls. We went to the concert, had the time of our goddamn lives. And, it was one of those kind of like, we weren't adults yet, but it felt like a very adult evening. Like we took care of our own our own accommodations. We rented a limo. We showed up at the concert, and it was just like we were adults, but we were also really indulging our childhood selves. So it felt very fun.
So you guys are all, it seems like most of you are dressed as Spice Girls here. Looks like you're posh. That would be
I'm
my
posh.
guess.
Then we have Ginger, we have Baby, we have Sporty. And then I don't think we did have anyone dress as Scary because of I don't think we said appropriation at the time, but we were just like, we don't have we don't we don't
You just
have
felt like, you know what,
we
this
don't
could
have
get
anyone to
dicey.
fill the role right now for this event.
Yeah, exactly. We're still casting.
We're still
And
casting, it's open, but we just felt like not for us to say.
yeah, were you always a posh girl?
Oh,
Because I was always a posh
from
girl.
the jump. I dressed as posh for Halloween when I was probably 6, and
Mm-hmm.
I always identified with her. And I've actually recently been thinking about it, and I really feel like her personality impacted me a lot as a kid.
I was literally about to say, I feel like you are the Posh of comedy.
Thank you so much. That is truly all I ever wanted to be. And then here, make your dreams come true.
Because you know what? I would actually say that Victoria is one of the funniest ones in the movie.
She is fucking funny.
Deadpan also. And
she's so deadpan and she's so moody and like, she just is like, what are we doing right now?
I always remember her line where she's like, should I wear the little Gucci dress or the little Gucci dress?
Of course. No. And then she'd be like, God, I could quote Spice World for, I can't open that box because I'll just talk about all my favorite parts. For example, when the aliens came to Earth.
And they grabbed Scary's boob. That really stuck with me because of the way his weird hand looks on her like gorgeous boob.
Yeah. Or when they're in the hospital with that kid and she's like, I'm Victoria Malcolm. And she's like, they're like, and then she's like, take your top off, Jerry. And then he opens his eyes. It's a lot of iconic.
It's a great movie. Alan Cumming, great in that movie.
Fantastic.
When they do the bus drop and it's obviously a little
she's
car.
Driving. Mm-hmm. And then they get a ticket for flying a bus without a license. Yeah, I picked up on the nuances. Also, Meatloaf is their tour bus driver.
That I didn't remember. I always like the part where they break the fourth wall and they talked about they talk to the audience and they say things like, you look so cute, you're wearing that little dress. They like talk to the audience in the movie at the end. Like,
yeah. Well, yes, of course. And you know what I felt robbed by is there's a scene from the trailer where they're in the bathroom and they're looking at their outfits and Posh lifts her skirt up like 4 inches.
Oh, right.
It's not in the movie. It's only in the trailer.
And that's actually, she's wearing that classic dress that it's like purple with
the lace that one of her Barbies wore as well.
That's what I was gonna say because her Barbie wore that outfit, and I had all the Barbies obviously.
And where was that scene from the movie? It was on the cutting room floor is where it was.
Wild when they include something in the trailer that doesn't end up in the movie, and it's that iconic where you're like sad for the fans. Okay. Let's round this all out now. I feel like we've got a beautiful picture of teen Mary Beth. So I like to end every episode by asking if you could speak to teen Mary Beth today. She materialized before you. She has on her Empire Waist outfit. It's 6:00 in the morning. She's fully done.
Oh my God, dressed. She's ready to go.
She's been up for an hour. What do you say to her?
I would say, I honestly, what's so crazy, I really wouldn't change a thing. Like, I think maybe what I would say is like, don't get so stressed out about like dating when you're in your early 20s, because things will get worse before they get better, but they do get better. That's what I would say.
That's beautiful. I love it. Guys, thank Mary Beth digitally for coming on the show. Where can people find you online, Mary Beth?
They can find me at Mary Beth Barone on all social platforms.
That's beautiful. And for everybody listening at home, this has been the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast.